This is Justin on Monday, November 14th, 2022, looking at SPX on the daily. So today's candle looked a lot like Friday's candle until it sold off, until it didn't. So let's go dive in. So yeah, we had a very similar candle till about here, and that's when everything really started to change. So let's dig into that part of the day. Way up here, obviously we were breaking out of this high, this high. If you look at the highs from Friday, they were actually about right there, and that is actually where I shorted, believe it or not. And we had an evening star reversal right here. We had a double top going on, and then like a neckline retest with that evening star reversal. And we started to break down. It's like that's a lot of bear candles in a row. We should, rest a little bit and then go lower. And at this point, it's like, okay, we're going to retest. We need to retest. How far are we going to retest was the question. Are we going to actually come back up here like we've been doing all day? Like, here's a double top and there's a trap, and it rallied. Well, now we're at this point where we're rolling over. It needs to do something similar, right? So it needs to, do some sort of a trap. And so here's some bulls getting in, looking to push this thing higher. And this high, let me zoom out to show yesterday and today together here. I'm just going to hold the cursor. So right here at yesterday or Friday's highs, there's a little upper wick, right? You can see right here, a little bit of an upper wick above the 41.01 price. And this was the place to short right here. It was easier to see on a 1 minute. Well, I guess I wasn't quite on 1 minute. I was on a different chart that I can't even look at on this. But up here, it's like, okay, where are we actually? Are we really going to run bullish here? More likely, we have room to go down. And so right here, right as it started to shift, I got in right at the 207. Right at 207 is when I got my fill. And I just got into, a small option. I got into the 39.75 put that expired today at 2:07 p.m. and it costs $30, so 0.3. And this candle made a low of 0.25, and I was up the entire rest of the day. It only stayed in longer. That was the issue. So we'll get into that a little bit too. But let's go back to the 3 minute. We retested, started to roll down, and it's like, okay, it can't just go straight down. Well, it could go straight down, but it's going to ebb and flow. So it did this, and I had my target at 3.5 on the put. Actually, let's go look at the put. So I was in at 0.3, and the low was 0.25. And here, I'll put it on the screen. So here's the 0.3 fill, and then we'll get to where I sold because that sucked. So this was the entry here, 2:07 p.m. Got the fill at 0.3 with the 14 November 22, 39.75, right? So then I had my target at 3.5 because that was previous low here, previous high here. It's like we should get there if we're going to really run. Well, we didn't. We ran into 3.1 and then pulled all this way back. And it's like, oh, sure, just add more at $1. Well, it's inside, obviously, right? So I was just happy to stay in this one. It's like I bought like the low almost, which usually I was selling the low. That just happened on Friday. And something runs without me or moves a little bit more without me. Anyway, so down here, we were at 3.5 in the put, running into the previous low here, running into that trap. Like, sure, we're going to get bought up a little bit. So we got bought up, didn't quite touch the 10, and then it started reverse. This candle took out the low. And at this point, I'm in this for about 30 minutes. And if I'm up, I'm going to lock in something. I'm going to just, I'm going to tighten up that stop, make sure that I can get out for something because I've been in for 30 minutes. The option's probably going to start moving against me at some point if it doesn't start to move. Well, it did start to move. And I got my stop too tight, got my stop set at 0.9, and that was the 0.9 price here. And I got stopped out or trailed out at 241. And we'll go look at the option here. at the 239 candle, put in a low of 0.9. So I sold at the low, which did happen today. And I think I had something happen on that last week. The low of this candle is 0.9. The low of this candle is 1. Had I set my stop a little bit further away, like below this, that was the issue. If I set it below this pivot, I should have my stop at like 0.5, 0.6, and still locked in a little gain, right? If it had come back down. But I put it at 0.9 thinking, oh, I'm gonna like 2x this option. It shouldn't come back down to that. Well, it came back down to exactly that and then bounced. I thought it wouldn't even come back below 1, and it did. And so then it ran, and when I didn't hit the target of 3.5, then I moved the target up to 10.5, because I'm like, well, if it's not going to pause, if it's not going to get up to here, it should push right through here and come back up into this range. And I thought, well, let me just get out near, the high of this candle. So 10.4, let me go for 10.5. And it was really just like, okay, I should see something, some sort of just a, big selling move. And we got that. It just happened in the last 6 minutes of the day, which I would have held to. I don't like holding past 2 minutes left in the day because the option's about to expire. But I have practiced this. I've gone through a lot of just trying it, dealing with my own emotions of holding something. So I would have held, I would have definitely gotten out at 10.5 if I were still in, because I think this moved too quickly for me to move that target. There's a chance that when I saw this starting to go, I would have been able to cancel the order, but I don't think I would have been able to get a new order set up. And then I would have been exiting somewhere between like 14 and 18. Well, I'm not going to say I would have exited at 18, probably somewhere between 14 and 17. My guess is I would have done like 15.5, because even at this point, it was still like moving up to that. And that would have added another, 5R kind of thing, with $100 risk is where I'm thinking through this stuff. So anyway, yeah, so what I did was I looked at my P&L thinking, oh, I'll get a, well, 3x. I'll 3x and have a gain of 2x, what I get in, instead of just thinking, well, where should the stop be according to the chart? Where should it be according to the options chart? And so this was, and I know it's really hard to see down here, so let me do this. We're just going to zoom on this. There we go. So I was in over here at 0.3. I should have had my stop trailing up at like 0.5 over here. And then not until we got this low and started to move up, should I have moved it to anything close to 0.9. Even still here, maybe 0.75 would have been better. So that was me looking at the P&L, not looking at the chart. So lesson learned, missed out on that, which I was in the right option at the right time and still didn't play it right because I got excited about, oh, I'm going to lock in something and I want it to be a profitable trade and I don't want to turn this into a loser, like this going to zero, which it easily can with 20 minutes left in the day. But I kept looking at this, I'm like, I almost bought the low. So that's the story for today. Basically bought the low, 0.3. I don't know, can I zoom in on this? Will this let me zoom? Because it'd be cool if I could just zoom in on that. I don't know how to do that. Let me see. Is there a zoom feature in here? I mean, we're using Zoom. You'd think they'd have a built-in zoom. That's just ironic that they wouldn't. So I don't know how to zoom in. I do a different, nope. Can't do that. All I can do is, yeah, put this back up. So 0.3, 0.9. I had my target. Yeah, so here's the target one, 10.5. So that trade got canceled. Oh, and I tried the 39.40 put earlier in the day and that didn't work. So small loss on that. So, and then here was the 3.5 that I canceled myself when I saw, okay, we're not getting, we got here at 215 and then it pulled back. So let me cancel. So let's see, that was trying to read the orders. So that was set at 207. And then I set this one up at 238. Yeah, so 30, so yeah, after, no, that was when it was, I'm not sure how to read that. Anyway, I was rambling on with this, trying to figure out the order entries and the order book stuff. Anyway, I wanted to, after 30 minutes, I wanted to have, you know, something set with a clear target, clear stop, and for the trade that was entirely working and would have been profitable at any point of selling, I just got too close to that stop. So lesson learned there. Hopefully you can learn from my lesson. There were some other opportunities to trade this throughout the day, but this was the big one that just kept showing some, you know, signals that we could roll down. There's different ways to kind of look at what we're doing here. The one big one that I noticed is, so looking at a chart like this, we ran into, so here's, draw it straight. Here are the highs. That's not going straight. There we go. There's the highs. We're kind of near that here. We broke out. It's like, okay, are we going to keep pushing up higher? How much further should we go? 4,000 was a nice round number. We hit 4,008. I think some people could be taking profit here. You know, we hit 4,000 on Friday and then we gapped down and somehow we still got bought up, but then there was some selling and yeah, it didn't work to short that. I mean, it worked for a little while to short that candle and go bearish, but it didn't roll back down. That would have been a great time to be in bearish earlier, you know, to see some kind of move like that. Didn't get. Instead, we continued to rally and, you know, worked our way up. But eventually we did push through above 4,000. Actually, all of this is above 4,000. And then we put in the double top, like I said, retested this, rolled back down. And now that we're back below these highs, I know it was a pretty straight line at first. Came back into that retest, and it's like, yep, short it right there. That was a great place to short it. There weren't really great 10 EMA signals right around there. So like here's a bull candle closing below 10. Here's some, you know, there's some over here. And so these are great ones to be watching. Like when this happens, it's starting to reverse. We got the closes up here. We're starting to curve back down with the 10. And then you get these blips back up. So let me just highlight that. So here's where the 10 goes up. Those are the places it's like, okay, something's happening. Like we're going down here. We're going down to sideways here. Something's starting to shift where, you know, you've got the 10 curving. Same thing happens here. The 10 starts to curve. The 10 starts to curve. You know, it's like these have all been, and there's a bigger one, which signaled actually going lower, but then we didn't get a blip and lower. We actually rallied. So even this one here, we got a little dip down here and then we push back up. And then when it does like a bunch of those, it's just really, really indecisive. So that's something I've noticed is just watching what the 10 is doing. And so we've got this angle here, a little steeper here, much steeper here. It's like, okay, let's see if we can come back into the 10 or something, you know. And this, even way down here, it's like, okay, we should be bought up. We're hitting some old supports, right? So even through here, even this much further lower, the option, the 37, so at this point, we're within 10 points of the option, and it's still only $1. Like I got stopped out at 0.9. You could have bought it at 0.9, maybe $1. Maybe let's just say round numbers, you bought it at $1. And then it does this. I thought there was a chance we could take out the low from earlier. So I was looking for that $10 price being right around 39.65. Like that's what I was thinking. We should take out this low because we've got the momentum now. We should take out the low. So this is kind of the thought process behind this. And instead I got my stop too tight, got stopped out or trailed out. So it was a gain. I just could have had a much bigger one. Thought we would hit here. So that's why I would have had the target at 10.5. And then I would have been trailing that stop really, really, really tight. A 1 minute on toss. And actually I was on the 15-second chart on TradingView, which is really fun to watch. But it shows you these moves so much differently. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. I'm going to pause this share and let me see if I have one handy. Oh wait, it's loading. It's still loading. I know you're still seeing the other screen. If this works, I'll show you what I was looking at for the 15-second chart, but it's still just moving. Sorry about this. I guess I could have paused the video too, or the recording, and I didn't do that. So if you're still here, thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. Hopefully you like and subscribe, and we'll give this a few more seconds to load. It's loading my trading view, and okay, now it's got SPX, and it's on the 3-minute chart. Okay, let me share this screen now. Resume share. Hopefully you're seeing trading view now. Okay, so here was today. Here's the 3 minutes. And now I have to change my thing because I got to scroll differently and I can't grab the screen like I was doing in TOS. Okay, we're going to go down to the 15-second. You can go down to 1 second, which I have not tried that, but here's the 15-second. What I really like about it, so here's that $207 or 2:07 p.m. was right. What was that? 2:07. So right here is the start of the 2:07 minute. So it came right up here into this high. I'm going to put it right here. So I saw this. It's like, is this like, how much further can this go? We've been off this. It's a 10 exponential moving average on a 15-second chart. I'm just laughing because I'm actually like kind of talking through like what I was watching. So you had some really nice consolidation here, false breakout into the double top, consolidation right back in here. It's like, that's a perfect target. Like both of these, the apex of both of those. So this triangle, and you can't, like, you just can't see this stuff. That's more of a rest after battle. So let's just say the apex here is right in here. It's like, I am going to short that right there if we get there. And sometimes that's all it is, you know, you're making the money, you're making the setup when you buy it and giving it the most potential. And because I bought at 0.3 on the option instead of 0.25, I don't know if I would have been filled at 0.25, but I bought at 0.3 and it immediately started working. And I'm not saying I can or I know how to call the bottom of the option, but being able to watch these patterns, like it's the same patterns. It's just, you know, it's the same patterns I talk about on the 3-minute or on a daily. It's just so much faster. And it helps you see kind of that movement. Like here's a little stair step right here, very little. And then we start to go. It's like that's some bearish momentum going right there. Here's some bearish momentum here. And then we chopped. Okay, someone's going to get chopped out if they're putting on a trade in this area. So don't do that. Wait for that to pick a direction. And it picked a bullish direction. And all that was a retest of this bigger neckline of that double top. So you can see the pattern bigger now. And it's like, okay, if we gotten up to here, like if I had gotten in here and then we still ran up to that, I was playing this as an absolute zero, like risking $30, like bought one put for 0.3. So I'm risking $30. I'm okay to lose that if we come up to here. But even if we come up to here, like we're going to have resistance. It should roll back down. I should be able to make something back as long as that happens quickly. And so what ended up happening is we started to run. We did that. It's like, oh, here we go. We're rolling. Okay, here, you know, here's another, you know, nice consolidation here. Maybe we'll bounce a little bit there, you know. And that's kind of what I thought, like we'll probably bounce a little bit. Nope, took that out. So now we took out the low here at you know, in the 39 or 39.90s. Then we came down lower. And then here we're rallying a little bit, but it's not even as strong of buying. This was very strong buying back to there. This was strong buying at first, and then it started to chop. It's like, well, we didn't even have, like, that's 2 minutes. So we had like 2 minutes of like total sideways, not even continuing higher. It's like we should really keep pushing lower. And then we started to roll back down, and we pushed lower, made a new low. So watch these new lows come in. It's like, okay, let me do something. So then here we are at, so at this pivot, and it's a 15-second pivot, I know. So at this pivot, I've been in this for 30 minutes. So this, oops, I'm trying to highlight. Where's the drawing? Okay, so I was in here, right here, at 207. So now at this pivot, 237, I've been in for 30 minutes. It's moved totally my direction, right? It's starting, wait, that's not 237. Moved it too far. Oops. There we go. Okay. So right here is 237. So this pivot where that's 30, okay, sorry. That's 30 minutes right there. I've been in from right here to right here. I'm up on the trade. It's been 30 minutes. I don't expect this to keep working. I'm going to do something to protect the little bit that I'm up, even though I missed getting out at like 3, which would have been a 10x on that trade. Getting in at 0.3 and selling for 3 would have been amazing. That would have been riding this whole move down directionally. And that was one of the things I could have done, is just get out there. I'm like, you know what? I bought an incredibly low level. I'm going to stay in this. And I had to hold through retracement almost to 1, and then hold through this retracement almost, to like 0.9. And then I was watching this on the 15-second chart, and this came in. I'm like, okay, I'm good. Let me zoom way in. So this little thing came in, and then this came in. It's like, okay, I'm good. It's starting to go down. Just like this went down, this is going to go down. Nope. Then we got that, and I was out. I was either out on this one or this one. I was out at 0.9, the exact level of that. I thought, okay, we should roll down from here pretty nicely. And this is where, oops, I should have had my stop further up here on the option, because after that, it started to work again. I could have gotten out at 150 or at 2. And then we really started to go. And it was really just the difference of how tight my stop was to 15 minutes later, 14 minutes later, we were past that 39.65 price, which I would have been able to hit that 1050 target. So right here is where we're hitting that 1050 target. And I was trailed out right here because I put my stop too tight. So that, I have to draw this. Because I got too aggressive with my stop, I missed out on basically that on an option with, at this point, the option's got 19 minutes to go when I got trailed out. Okay, so think about that. So I had 19 minutes. There we go. And then at this point over here, as it's moving past that, there's like, I want to say 5 minutes. So the difference of 14, this was crazy. The difference of 14 minutes here on an option expiring the same day, to me, was either getting out at 0.9, which was still a gain, happy with that, or getting out at 10.5, where I had my target. So the difference in these numbers is about $1,000, right? With this one contract that I bought here at 0.3. Okay, so that's the numbers. That's the actual numbers. I was doing this really small. I could have just bought here for $1, sold here at 1050, and made 950 bucks on just that move. Like, I could have done that. I could have I'm just working on really buying small, knowing when to buy, and I messed up where my stop should have been here, and I put it here. And so my stop should have been 0.75, and still would have been a great place for a stop. Still made a gain. From this to this would have still been a gain. From this to this is still a gain, but from this to this is what my goal is to get more of these. And that's a Monday. I used to have to wait on these and do these on Fridays when I was just focused on Amazon doing this. Now it's every day. This possibility is here with SPX and its daily expiring options. And there's a huge, what's the word, allure, something like that, to do this. So I'm playing really small, working out the system, working out what I'm seeing, and I'm seeing it better. Today I saw it really, really, really well. You can continue to draw some things on here. So we start doing this kind of S-curve, right? Here's our S-curves. And so this is a consolidation. We should break lower. Here's a little stair step. We should break lower. The patterns are here. And so I'm going to continue to watch this. Oops. I'm going to continue to watch this on the 15-second chart on TradingView. I can't watch it. I at least can't figure out in the settings if there's a way to do 15 seconds on toss. But it's really cool to be able to watch this and chart this. And it's like, okay, I can see those moves. I can see this is just chop. This is, directional, but it's not as strong as, this going down here, obviously. So like this is the direction to be in when this kind of move is happening. So if you miss this, if you didn't do this, but you want to get in somewhere else, okay, look for the S-curve, buying in here. So set it up, buy for $1 and a stop, at 0. Actually, 0 would have been like way up here at this point, but actually no, 0 would have been moving. Yeah, even though this is moving generally down, the 0 price on the options, even though I got in here, the 0 is probably like here. And then the 0 is probably here. And the 0 is probably here. Like it just keeps moving down. And then once it gets, this is what's amazing about options. So this is the strike right here, 39.75. Once you go in the option or in the money, market makers have to pump that full of premium. And that's what I'm playing on. I'm playing on that the market makers are not anticipating this kind of a move, or at least they haven't been able to price something in, because at this point there's an hour left in the day. The option I'm in should be worthless in an hour. So the Greeks, everything is saying that's what should happen. But when we have patterns setting up, we have moves setting up, we have things we recognize in the chart, this becomes the biggest opportunity to me, because I can get into something very inexpensively, 0.3, sometimes less, sometimes more. And if it does work out, where this is a big if it works out and it moves directionally, the option has to go up at least above 0. it could still, so if this one had closed at 39.74, or I'm sorry, 39.76 for the put, it would have been out of the money, would have been worthless, would have been 0. So I'm playing on, getting in where it's not 0, but I still have some amount of time. And this is what you have to be really careful of. So this is what I've been working on. This is what I've been studying. This is what I'm figuring out. And happy to share that this is one that I got a piece of and then lost a piece. Well, it's not even a loss. It's exactly what I was looking to do. I was able to play that. I played it from this peak to this one. And I should have been a little further away, just allowing that this consolidation here to play out and break down, and then move my stop there. I just got too aggressive, thinking, okay, we shouldn't hit that value again, and then sure enough, we did. So that was the error that I made in this trade, and hopefully I don't do another video about making a similar error. But it was really exciting to be in the option almost at its low, and being able to see by the end of the day it's skyrocketed. Pretty cool. All right, hope this helps. This is Justin. Thanks.